All right. We are live. We are live. I want to welcome you to the second training of the third cohort. Welcome to the second training of the third cohort. Tonight we will be looking at how to sell through storytelling. All right. So I'm just going to quickly check and be sure that everything is working fine and we're good to go. Enjoy the music in the meantime. Okay, let me start by saying happy International Women's Day to all the women in the court. All right, let me type that in the
Subscribe to Faith
comment
Fuel
section.
Frequencies. Hit that notification bell.
Happy International Women's Day. All right. Okay, so yeah, happy International Women's. So I woke up this morning, and when it occurred to me that it was International Women's Day, I just had to create something. So that's why I went to Canva and quickly, made that up. Why? Because I noticed that in all the cohorts, women outnumbered the men. I mean, in cohort 3, for example, the ratio should be something maybe 4 to 1. Yeah, I would think so. It's about 4 to 1. Yeah. So I discovered that cohort 1, cohort 2, cohort 3, there were a lot of women compared to men. So I just had to show up for you girls. When I say you girls, you know what I mean. All right. So I don't mean that in a demeaning way. Yeah. So I want to say happy International Women's Day to all of you. Yeah, I celebrate you. Women run the world. I agree. All right. No debate, no controversy. Women run the world. Blessing. Yeah, I see you. Happy International Women's Day. All right. So that said, that done. We are just gonna get ready to set the ball rolling. Like I said, today this is the second training, and we're looking at how to sell through storytelling. And can I start by saying storytelling is one of the ammunitions that you need if you're going to build a personal brand on the internet. Yeah, you need to learn and get better at storytelling. You will need to tell your story. That's the summary of it all. You will need to tell your story. So which is why we're making this the theme of this course. And I'm going to do my best tonight to help you understand why storytelling is very important. Show you a few examples of how storytelling has been useful in building my own brand, whether it's on LinkedIn or it's on Medium. And then we will go into the Hero framework. All right. I mean, that's about like one of the most popular storytelling framework you'll find around. And I don't care. Watch any movie, watch any TV series, you're going to see that hero framework in the plot of the movie. It's commonly used by almost every script writer when it comes to storytelling. So I'm going to dissect the framework for you, show you the details of the framework, and then how you can apply it into your content creation. All right. I have a few examples too. I have a document I created for that purpose. I'm going to use the document to teach tonight. Then I'm going to send the link of the document to the group so that everybody can have access to it. Then after that, I'm going to walk you through the content guide and show you how to leverage on the guide to tell stories and how you can skillfully still market yourself while telling those stories. All right, that's something very important in this course. So, are we ready? If you're ready, let me know in the comment section. Are we ready? Are you ready?
Subscribe to Faith
As soon
Fuel
as I know that we're
Frequencies.
ready, then
Hit that
we are
notification
good to
bell.
go. Are you ready? Are you ready? So while I'm waiting for your response, I'm gonna cue my slide. So well, let me make them show side by side. When we're ready, I will bring the slide and take my face away. All right, blessing says you're ready. Good, good, good. Energy. Blessing, were you around yesterday? I'm not sure you were around yesterday. If you were not around yesterday, then you need to watch the video for yesterday. You need to work on your profile. Yeah, I know you need to work on your profile because I've checked your profile. I still checked your profile today. You need to work on your profile so that you can get it ready for the challenge. Your profile needs a little bit of touch here and there so that you can be fully set. So guys, are we ready? Are we ready? I'm gonna bring up my slide, take my face away. I'll bring my face back much later in the training session. Tonight too, I'm gonna work with time. I'm hoping that by 9:15, just like yesterday, at the most 9:15 we're done. Alright. So I'm gonna really run tonight, just like I did yesterday. Alright guys, so tonight we are looking at how to sell through storytelling. So I'm just going to get straight into my slide. There is no time. All right. So I'm going to start by saying everyone has a story to tell. All right. Everyone has a story to tell. There is no such thing as, oh, I don't have a story. Everybody has a story to tell. If you have decided to show up online and build a brand, then you must have a story to tell, all right? You must have a story to tell. So everyone has a story to tell. Or is there somebody watching this video tonight that feel like they don't have a story to tell? Let me know. Let me know. But I mean, if you have been around the planet Earth for, even if it's 10 years, you have your story. Even if you have been around for 5 years, well, maybe because that person is a child, they may not be able to put their words together and to tell their stories very well. But if you live on this planet Earth for say 5 years, 10 years, you will have loads of stories to tell. Much less if you have lived for 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, you do have a story to tell. Everyone has a story to tell. It may not be things that happen to you, it may be things that happen to other people. All right, but the point is, everybody certainly has a story to tell. The next thing I'm going to say is everyone has a story to sell. All right, and again, I think it was in the second course that I really explained that when you hear the word sell, it is not every time that it means exchange of money. All right, the word sell actually means to persuade somebody, to be able to persuade somebody on a particular subject. And that can be persuading the person to buy something or persuading the person to do something. And that's why you find out that it is commonly
Subscribe to
said,
Faith Fuel
oh,
Frequencies.
he
Hit
sold
that
me the
notification
idea.
bell.
I mean, he sold me the idea does not mean that you bought the idea with money. It just means that the person shared the idea with you in such a way that you were persuaded, you were convinced, and then you have bought the idea. You share the idea, all right, and you're running with the idea. So that's basically why they say he sold me the idea. She sold me the idea. Or you want to say something like, oh, I'm going to call him and I'll see if I can sell him the idea. Yeah, that necessarily does not mean you want to collect money from the person. It just means you want to share the idea with them and you want to do it in such a way that they are going to, see things from your viewpoint. All right. So everyone has a story to sell. Whether it is that you are on LinkedIn to sell a service or a product, or you just want to build a personal brand, share your journey. Whether you are, let's say, for example, you're an employee and you just want to share your, professional career progress with people online, you want to carry people along how your journey is going, you have a story to sell. That's just basically what I am saying. So everybody has a story to sell. And finally, everyone is already a storyteller. So I don't want anybody to have the mindset that, oh, I'm not good at telling stories, or I don't tell stories. I'm not a storyteller. Everybody is naturally a storyteller. I'm going to give you a few scenarios. If there has ever been any time that something happened, either in school, at work, at home, in church, in mosque, wherever you belong to, and you had to gist somebody about it, and thank goodness, there are like a lot of women in this cohort. I know women like gist a lot. Not all women, but most women like gist, alright? So, if you have ever gisted anybody about anything, that is storytelling. Something happened, and then your friend called you and like, how far now? What happened? What happened exactly? Like, I want to hear the full gist. I know ladies do a lot of girls talk and catching up. When two ladies and three ladies meet together, let's say after a few months, they do girls talk, tease themselves about which guy is in their life, if they are married. Sometimes they tease themselves about some housekeeping stuff, family stuff, and all that. How their husbands are treating them and all that. Yeah, and then they talk about work, they talk about career, they talk about finance, they talk about this and that, and then everybody just gist, oh, this person's party, that person's this and that. That is storytelling. All right, don't complicate it. Everyone is already a storyteller. Everyone tells stories. All right, the only difference is that you can get better at storytelling. You can get better. The more you actually learn the rudiments of storytelling, the more you can tell stories in a more convincing way. All right, so and that's why we are here tonight. But have it at the back of your mind that basically everyone is a storyteller. Everyone has told a story before. That's what I'm simply saying. And we most likely tell stories all of the time. All right, so everyone is a storyteller. So let's go. Next slide. Uh,
Subscribe to Faith Viewer Frequencies. Hit that notification bell.
some network ish. All right, okay, so we're back. It was just a short break in transmission. It was network. So, what exactly is storytelling? Storytelling is the art of using words, actions, and other media to convey a story or an idea. So, why they say words, actions. Sometimes you watch miming. Miming too is actually storytelling. People using sign languages and um, different actions to depict certain things. That's still story. Excuse me. That's still storytelling. All right. You can actually use pictures, images to tell a story. All right. You may necessarily not be writing anything, or but you can just create pictures. Picture one, two, three, four, five, and they can progressively tell a story. So it's basically the use of words, actions, or other media to convey a story or an idea. And these stories can actually be for entertainment, it can be to teach, it can be to share knowledge. All right. So if you watch a movie, for example, what they are most likely doing is telling a story to entertain you and sometimes to teach. All right. Some movies actually come with some lessons, life lessons, and all that. So, but there are other times too that is just purely entertainment. All right. And certain times too, you tell a story to share knowledge. All right. So ultimately, one of the things we discussed yesterday is when you're planning to build a brand on LinkedIn, you must decide or determine what value are you bringing to the internet space, what's special about you and about what you do that people should care about or that people should listen. I mean, what's special about you that should make people listen to you. All right, so that thing that you have figured out that is special about you, you can use storytelling to convey the idea. All right, that's basically what storytelling is about. Then what exactly is story selling? In English language, we call certain things, certain words, coinages. Coinages is, oh, this word is naturally not in the dictionary, but people coined it over time. And sometimes some of those coinages find their way, ultimately into modern English or generally accepted English. All right. So, what is storytelling? Story selling. Story selling is a sales and marketing strategy that uses stories to persuade customers to buy a product or service or an idea. Again, I said selling does not necessarily is not restricted to exchange of money. Selling is persuading people to do something, and one of the things that you may be persuading them to do is to buy something, all right? But you may also be persuading them to take an action. For example, if you tell a story and your call to action is you are asking a question, you're asking a question, or you're asking them to share, or you're asking them to subscribe, that again is still what you have sold them the idea. You have sold them the idea of the fact that, oh, your channel is so amazing, you teach or you share stuff that can help them, and then they should subscribe. And then if they finally subscribe, you have successfully sold them the idea about your channel. That's just basically what selling is about. So story selling is a coined word that merges storytelling and selling together. So it's a coinage, it's the joining of two words together, storytelling and
Subscribe to pay
selling.
fuel
So
frequencies.
it
Hit
is
that
a
notification
sales
bell.
and marketing strategy that uses stories to persuade customers to buy a product or service. And why is this idea very powerful? The idea of story selling is based on the fact that people are more likely to connect with stories than when you're just listing facts and features. All right, I say, oh, my product, these are the features of my product, this, that. How about if you tell a story about the transformation that that product helped you achieve or helped your customers achieve? That's the whole concept of storytelling. All right, and because people like stories, people like stories. All right, if you're on the call tonight and you like stories, all right, let me know in the comment section. I like stories. I like good stories. All right, I like good stories. I like relatable stories. I watch movies sometimes or some series sometimes, and I'm just captivated by the storytelling. I'm captivated by the suspense. I'm captivated by the plot. I'm captivated by the character, how they embody the roles that they are playing. So most people, I don't want to be too I don't want to make a blanket statement like everybody likes stories, all right? So maybe not everybody, let's just give the allowance, but most people like stories, all right? And most people like good stories. So if you're able as a brand to tell stories and then weave your value, weave the transformation that you help people to achieve, weave it into storytelling, you're more likely going to get people than when all you're just doing is, oh, you're saying, come and buy my ghostwriting service. Oh, my ghostwriting service. I'll work with you for 3 months. Then we'll do this and this and this and this and that. I'm going to create 12 content for you. You're going to do this and that. But how about if you tell a story? Tell a story about how you started ghostwriting. How about if you tell a story of a client that you met maybe sometimes last year and how your ghostwriting transformed, their businesses or their personal brand? That's the whole idea behind story selling. Because people like stories, they are more at home or at ease listening to your story, and because they like stories, it is easier to just move them from a very emotional and impactful story into talking about your product. And you can talk about your product via storytelling in such a way that your audience does not even see it as though you're selling. That's the point. All right, you can tell your story and sell. What is happening? Hold on. Okay. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we good? Let me know that you can hear, you can see me. Use the comments. Let me know that you can hear and you can see me. I saw your notification now, and I'm just trying to check that everybody can hear me. Please let me know quickly before I continue.
Subscribe to pay fuel frequencies. Hit that notification bell.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? Very quickly, so I can continue. Um, I'm just so I don't want to sit here where I have spoken a lot only to find out that nobody was hearing me. All right. I think I should even join on my phone so that I can check from here. Um, Yolanda, you can see me, but you can't hear me. Let me check from my end. Okay, blessing, you can hear me. All right. Yolanda, I want you to probably blessing can't see me. All right, you can't see me, blessing. I mean, I'm asking if you can see my screen. Can you see my slide? Yeah, not my face. Yeah, my face is you can't see me now until I'm done with the training. So, but can you see my slide? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, yeah, Yolanda, you can't see me, but you can hear me. Oh, good, good. I misread that initially. All right, thank you guys. So now that I'm sure that you can hear me, and you can see my slide. Let's continue. So I'm saying that the idea of story selling. Thank you, Yolanda. All right, the idea of story selling is that people like stories. All right, and people are at home when you're telling stories, when you're telling them stories. All right, and if you can tell stories very well, if you're very good and natural with storytelling, you actually stand a chance to grow quickly and fastly on the internet. All right, people are going to fall in love with your personal brand just because of your ability to tell stories. All right, that's the essence of everything that I've been saying. So storytelling is using words, actions to convey an idea. Story selling is actually using stories to actually sell your product or service. And again, like I said, to sell your ideas. Selling is not limited to selling products and services. Selling can also be that you're just sharing your ideas, you're selling your ideologies. All right. And so if you look at the screen, to my left, this is my first viral article. I've had at least 10 viral articles on Medium now, all right? But this is my first viral article on Medium to my left. And it's a storytelling article, all right? I wrote this November 21, 2023, and that month was the month that my Medium began to pick up. Somehow, this story just went boom. I'm going to tell you why that happened. When I begin to share on the Hero framework, yeah, I'm going to tell you why this actually went viral. But I mean, I could even tell you now. So this is a story. This is a storytelling article about how I resigned my job in 2019 and then began my ghostwriting agency in 2020, and how that from 2020, this was 2023, up until 2023, I've worked as a full-time ghostwriter. Do you know why this article went viral? One, it was storytelling. Two, it was because I was telling a story that my audience could identify with. All right, my audience could identify with this story because much of my audience on Medium are newbie writers and aspiring writers. All right, so this article resonated with them because most of them
Subscribe to
to
Faith Fuel
have the
Frequencies.
aspiration
Hit that
or the
notification
desire
bell.
to someday quit their jobs and then work as a full-time writer, be in control of their time, be their own bosses. So the result I was painting in the article is an aspiration for most newbie and aspiring writers. So this was why this article actually went viral, and because it was storytelling. All right. So the combination of you telling a story that your audience or your target audience find relatable, that they can see themselves in, is one of the ways you can ace the internet with storytelling. And can you see? Look at the statistics. The article so far has 12,700 claps, has 313 comments. All right, 313 people has left comment on the article. It has 10,100 views, and of the 10,100 views, it has 68 read ratio. So meaning just only 32% people click the article but did not read it. 68% of the people that viewed the article read the article. So that's like 6,800 people has read the article so far. Why? Because storytelling works, all right? And a lot of people jumped on my newsletter because of this article. Some persons in 2014, 2013, when the article was still, when the virality was still on, some persons jumped on my coaching program. All right. Why? Because I just told a story that they could see themselves in. All right. So they could resonate with the story, and it was just easy to sell them on my product, on my services. All right. To my right is an article I posted last year on LinkedIn. All right. This was when I think this was around July, June or July, when the university in the United States of America, Delaware University in Nebraska, reached out to me. They found one of my articles on Medium, and they wanted to use the article in their university for ENG 100 as one of their curriculum, one of the materials for that course. And they wanted my permission to be able to use the article. We got talking, we agreed on the deal. It was a 3 years contract, and then they sent me the money, and then I sent them the approval to print the article, to use the article in their classroom. So I made the announcement on LinkedIn, told the story, and then used the post to also sell my Medium masterclass. All right, because the results came from Medium, and I've been talking about Medium. Man, I'm one of I'm like an ambassador for Medium on LinkedIn. All right, so I told the story, shared the news, and I had amazing results with this post. And if you look at the statistics in the video, you will see it's a promotional post. So this post is a promotional post. It's a sales post. All right. Yet it got massive engagement. Why? Because of the story and because of the breaking news. The good news that I was sharing. And if you see the post, I thought about this in the second quote on offers. And I think the trading is linked in the welcome letter. If you check the welcome letter, you will see the trading where I analyze this post, all right, under how to make irresistible offers. All right. Everything in the post was done intentionally to
Subscribe to view
sell
fewer
my Medium
frequencies.
masterclass.
Hit that
And I made over
notification bell.
200K, over 200,000 from this post alone. All right. But can you see the massive engagement? 338 people liked the post. It had 375 comments. 14 people reposted it, even though it was a promotional post. 14 people considered the post and the story so inspiring enough to share it with other people. And then this post had 7,685 impressions. All right, that means people saw this article 7,685 times. And all of this engagement and impressions is an added bonus to the fact that I made over 200,000 naira from this single post. Story selling works. That is what I am trying to tell you. It works. I've done it again and again and again and again, and it works. All right. So let's move on. Next slide. So now I'm going to walk you through the Hero storytelling framework. All right. The Hero framework is a popular storytelling framework. I mean, like I said earlier, every movie you watch, there's always the hero. Oftentimes, there's always the villain. Okay, so in school, we're taught there's the protagonist. The protagonist is also the hero. The antagonist is also the villain. Oftentimes, the antagonist is the person who is like an opposition to the protagonist, to the hero. All right. If you watch Batman, Superman, all of these kinds of series, Superman is a hero. Then all of these other characters that are always attacking the city, that are the armed robbers and all. I can't remember all of these characters now, but those are like the villain. They are like the antagonists. All right, Batman, Superman, and all of those kinds of series. All right, so there is a framework that these screenwriters use in the movies that you watch, in the series that you watch. Think of any movie right now, any series, any recent movie you just watched, and your head, and you will see that there was truly somebody in that movie, maybe somebody or a team of people that you can call the heroes, the hero or the heroes, or that you can call the protagonist. And there are like a few people or situations and circumstances that you can refer to as the protagonist or the villain. A villain does not necessarily have to be a human, all right? It can be certain situations that the hero has to overcome. before they can get to their destination or get the result that they want to get. All right, this is like a framework that you will see used in every movie, every series that you have ever watched. All right, if this is making sense to you, you can actually think of a movie you watched some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago or 1 week, and you will see that, oh, there was actually somebody in the movie that you can call the hero, there was somebody you can call the villain, all right, or something you can call the villain. If this makes sense to you, let me know in the comment section. If it makes sense, let me know in the comment section while I try to share my screen and take you to the document that I said I created for this session. Again, I'm gonna share the document with you in the group, so relax. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the document since you're
Subscribe to
still
stay
gonna have the
activated. Feel
document.
frequencies. Hit that
All right,
notification bell.
no, not this. So, like I said, if it makes sense, if you watched the movie recently, that you actually can now figure out that there's somebody who is the hero, there's the villain. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. This is like a framework that is used in almost every movie, in almost every series that you watch. All right. So, guys, I want to walk you through the hero framework. The hero framework. All right. Also, let me know if you can see my slide. Yeah, I just shared my screen so I can show you. I can show you the hero framework. So let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. All right, quickly, let me know in the comment section. So the hero framework. As soon as I know that you can see my my screen, the document I'm sharing, we're good to go. Okay, I feel like this can be bolder. I want to make it full screen. All right, good. Let me make it full screen. Okay, good. All right, Yolanda, thank you, thank you. Now that I know you can see my slide, let me quickly run you through the hero framework. So the hero framework is an acronym. All right, let me quickly make it obvious that it is an acronym. All right, it is an acronym. So the H in the hero actually stands for hero itself. All right, that feels like tautology. But every story has a hero. Every story has a hero and has a villain. All right, most likely in your own life too, you probably have a lot of stories to tell where you are the hero and there has been several villains in your life. All right, it could be maybe in your last job you were trying to move to the next level, I mean, get a promotion. It could be a boss that could be the villain in the story. All right. At some point, maybe you finished college or the university and you're clueless about what to do with your life. You are the hero in the story, and that challenge, that state of confusion is like the villain. However, you walked around it and finally found, oh, your purpose or what you should do. That's a story to tell. When you're telling the story, in that story, you're the hero. The challenges you face is the villain. So every story always has a hero and a villain. So in storytelling, when you want to tell stories online or when you want to tell stories that will sell, you want to make sure that your audience are or is the hero in that story. All right. You want to tell the stories that you want, and the stories you want to tell, you want to tell them in such a way that the audience can see themselves in the story as the hero, not you
Subscribe to
as the
stay
hero. Because
activated.
really,
Feel
I'm going to be very
frequencies.
sincere with you.
Hit that
People
notification
don't
bell.
really care about your story like that, all right? Except they can relate with your story. So it's not just about you. I mean, just bombarding everybody with your story or the amazing things that happen in your life or the trying times or the not too good, times of your life. It's not just about you sharing such stories. It's about sharing stories that your audience can see themselves in it. For example, the post I showed you, the one to my right, that was announcing the contract I signed with the American university. The reason why that story worked is because the people who write on Medium, who follow me, could see themselves in the story. All right. I told the story in such a way that they could literally see themselves in the story. They could see that my journey and the result I'm now getting is the journey that they are currently on and the result that they are aspiring to get. So it was easy for me to sell them the products that will take them from where they are now to where they aspire to be. Very simple. All right. So in telling stories online, you don't want to tell the story in such a way that the attention is focused on you. The attention still has to be on the audience. The audience must be able to see themselves in the story. They must see themselves as the hero in the story. All right. So in storytelling, you have the hero and then you have the villain. Whatever stands in the way of the hero getting what they want or doing what they need to do is called the villain. And like I said earlier, the villain does not always have to be a human. The villain can be a health challenge. It can be, for example, now if you want to tell a story about the pandemic. Okay, let me tell my own story. During the pandemic, I got a job in March. I think it was the 4th of March 2020. COVID was not widespread in Nigeria as at then, so there was no lockdown yet. So I got the job on the 4th of March. I resumed. It was a consulting job. It was twice my salary, in my previous job, and I was happy, excited that I was starting life afresh after the 2 months break I took, in 2019. But I used just 2 weeks on the job, and then COVID became a serious thing in Nigeria, and the government announced that we're going on a lockdown. So everybody went back home, and some months down the line, I lost the job. All right, that's my story. I am the hero in the story. The villain, as far as that situation is concerned, is COVID-19, lockdown. Those are the villain in the story. All right, it's my story. I am the hero. Those are the villain. And then to continue to tell the story further, then I'll begin to tell the story of how I now discovered that, oh, now that everybody is on lockdown, we are in our houses, I can write online. And that was how I began my ghostwriting agency in June 2020. And that is what has led me to where I am now. All right. So I just told my story in like 1, 2, 3 minutes now, and you can see everything. You will see everything in this framework by the time I'm done explaining. I just showed you the hero of the story. I showed you the villain, all right? And then I showed you the transformation that happened because the hero, myself, I overcame the villain and then I experienced transformation. I crossed to the other side. That is typically the format of every story that you will see or hear, all right? So whatever stands in the way of the hero getting what they want or becoming who they should become is the villain. And it could be challenges, all right? It does not have to be a human
Hit that
all the time.
notification bell.
So under this first aspect of this framework, you have a few things to do. If you are part of the second cohort, I expect you to have done this before. But for those that are here for the first time, these are the few things you want to do. All right? Don't forget I said the hero of the story has to be your audience, not you. You may be telling your story, but you must tell your story in such a way that the audience can see themselves in the story and they can see themselves as the hero, not you. All right. So, how do you tell a story in such a way that the audience can see themselves in? You need to understand your audience. All right. What does your audience want? Who do they want to become? What who are they aspiring to become? All right. Let's say your audience is somebody who is overweight, for example, and they're trying to slim down to lose weight and get what people call a summer body, something like that. All right. So you want to really highlight, all right, who is my audience trying to become? My audience is Jessica. My audience is Jessica Rebecca. She's Rebecca is 26 years old and then she weighs let's say 300 pounds. Rebecca is trying to lose weight and become say 170, 160. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's hope it makes sense. All right. So Rebecca wants to, lose weight, get to be maybe 170, 180 pounds, and then she wants to be able to flaunt a summer body during the summer, wear a bikini. All right. Oh man, I'm talking X-rated stuff now. All right, don't mind me. I'm just joking. So wear a bikini, um, be on a yacht or be by the seaside, flaunt our curves and our hips and our shape and all that. So you want to really, really describe what your audience is trying to achieve, what's their aspiration. And like I showed you in that article, the reason that the content I've showed you that worked on Medium and the reason they work is because I was telling a story that showed the audience what they are aspiring to become. For example, I told a story of how I got a university to sign a contract with me on Medium. That's like a global opportunity, and most of my audience are looking to build a brand that will get them global opportunities. So I simply just told my story in such a way that they can see themselves, their aspirations in the story that I'm telling, and then I show them that, oh, I am like the mentor that can take you from where you are now to that aspiration, and this is the product or the service that I'm offering you that will help you go from point A to point B, and then they bought it. Simple. So you want to enumerate what does your audience want, who do they want to become, all right? The third thing is what external challenge are they currently facing, all right? What challenges are they facing? What challenge is getting in their way from achieving that, result? Because whatever stories you want to tell must be tailored to all of these things that I'm saying now, all right? The last one is what is the shared villain that is thwarting their progress? Jessica wants to drop her weight from 300 pounds to 175. What is the villain that is thwarting that progress? It could be that Jessica likes junks, all right? Jessica likes junks. So oftentimes she just munches junks all the day.
Subscribe to Big
That's a
Info.
villain. That's
Hit that
something that she has to
notification bell.
overcome if she's going to be able to lose weight and get a summer body. So you want to enumerate that because you're only going to share stories that Jessica will be able to relate with if it's talking about our aspiration, our challenges, the pain point or the villain, all right? So you want to do research. And like I taught in, I think it was quote one, what are the ways you can quickly get this data? One, speak to your target audience, all right? Have conversations with your target audience. Every day, I get on calls with aspiring writers, newbie writers, either from Medium or from LinkedIn, and I ask a lot of questions. Oh, what are you trying to achieve? What are your challenges? What's standing in your way? So I've gotten a lot of data that when I write content for them now, I speak to their pain points, aspiration, and challenge because I have a lot of data, first-hand data that people have given me over calls and over interactions. So that's one way you can gather this data. The second way is you can simply go to ChatGPT or Claude and describe yourself. My name is Ajala Leko. I am a ghostwriter. My target audience are C-suite executives, CEOs, thought leaders, and business executives and the likes. I want to know what are the top three aspirations of my target audience. What are the top three challenges of my target audience? What are the top three pain points of my target audience? ChatGPT has a lot of data that it has been trained with, all right? It will regurgitate those data for you, and then you can start from there, all right? Down the line, you can then get more precise data from your interactions with your target audience. But that's like a quick start. I hope this was helpful. Let's go to the second letter in the Hero framework. The E stands for empathy. All right, the E stands for empathy. All right, we have introduced two characters under H, the hero and the villain. Now let's talk about the third character. The third character is the mentor, the guide, or they call the person the mentor, the guide, the sage, or the helper. If you have watched any movie in recent time, again, like I said, you will find the hero in the movie, you will find the villain, and you will always find somebody who is the mentor, the guide, the sage, or the helper. Somebody who helps the hero to be able to navigate their challenges, to be able to overcome the villain. You will often find that in almost every storyline. Almost. But in this case, you are the one that is building a personal brand that is trying to help the target audience, your customers, your potential customers. So you are the mentor, you are the guide, you are the sage, you are the helper. All right. The mentor understands the challenges of the hero. That's what we have just done under the first letter. That's the assignment. All right. So, as the mentor, you must understand the challenges the hero is facing, and you must be able to empathize with them and then expertly guide them towards their goal. All right, that's why you are the person who is building a person. That's why you're the one selling your service, selling the skills. All right, so you are the one who is the mentor, who is online to build a brand so that you can show your target audience how you intend to help them to go from where they are to where they should be. And while you're doing that, you must empathize with them. All right, you must be able to show some empathy. All right, that's the way you will be able to connect with them and build trust over
Subscribe
time.
to a frequency.
So you understand what
Hit
your
that
audience is going
notification
through.
bell.
You want to build okay, you want to build empathy and trust with them. And how will you do this? You will do this by basing your marketing messages around the four things you have written down under each. Don't forget the question I asked you. Who does your target audience want to be? What's their aspiration? What are their challenges? What's the villain they're trying to overcome? All right. So based on that data, you will include those stuff in your marketing messages, in your storytelling, such that what the reader, the audience, can see themselves in the story as the hero, and they also see that you can feel their pain. All right, you truly understand them, you get them, you know what they are going through. All right, you feel them deep down. So when you write or you tell stories that showcases the aspirations and the challenges that your audience are facing, they simply feel like, oh, it looks like this person knows me. All right, I've not met this person before, but this person knows me. How on earth does this person know me like this? They are now beginning to build some emotional connection with you because you are the one showing up for them, creating content that is helping them get little results here and there, until they finally feel like, oh, if this person has helped me this much, I think I trust them enough to finally pay them money so that they can what? They can help me get the transformation that I've been looking to get. All right, guys, is this making sense? Let me know in the comment section. Is this making sense? So one of the ways to connect with them emotionally is to use the words that they use, and that's why research is very important. All right, like I said, talk to your target audience, ask them questions, get to know what they are going through, and the words that they use in describing their challenges and their aspirations. When you are creating your marketing message, that is exactly what you want to use their words. All right, use their words. And as you are writing, show empathy. And there are certain words you can say that shows that, oh, you really understand them. For example, I understand how it feels. All right. When you say something like, oh, I understand how you're feeling. All right. Or I know it can be frustrating. Why do you know it can be frustrating? Because most likely you have also been there. For example, let me use my Medium story for example. There was a time I had just 22 followers on Medium. I think that was early 2023. All right, I had just 22 followers. Every time I write content on Medium, nobody claps for the content, nobody leaves a comment. I know firsthand how frustrating it can be to create content and not get engagement. It feels like you spend 2 hours writing a content and you feel like, oh wow, this is just an amazing content, and then nobody says, oh, this is beautiful, this helped me. It feels like, oh, so my 2 hours wasted. So I know how frustrating it can be. So if I want to sell my Medium Masterclass, for example, I will describe that scenario that, oh, I've been there before where I will write content and I will hear crickets. Nobody likes my content, nobody comments on my posts and all that. But then all of a sudden I did this and this and this, and I've gone from 22 followers to 5,000 plus followers. I mean, so I just show them that, oh, I know this experience firsthand. I can relate with you. Where you are now was where I was some months or some years back. All right. But now I am where you want to
Subscribe to
be,
a
and I'm going to
frequency.
help you to go
Hit that
from where you are
notification
now
bell.
to where you want to be. Is this making sense? All right. So use words that makes them feel like, oh, you share in their pain, you understand their frustration. What you are doing is gradually you're bonding with them, you're connecting with them at an emotional level. They are now beginning to see you for who you are, their mentor, their guide, and they will now begin to trust you gradually, all right, until you have built a rapport with them and they are finally ready to take you up on your offer. And some of the kinds of content you can use, and which is why in the content guide, there are places for testimonials and case studies. Some of the content you can use to forge that relationship is to share testimonials, case studies. All right. In that post that I made, my story itself was the testimonial. I didn't need to share any other person's story. And again, so I'm saying that because some of you too, I mean, I have a lot of testimonials of people that have taken my medium masterclass and they have gotten results. But that particular day, I was just using my own story. So let's say you don't have any clients yet. Maybe you're just starting out. You don't have any clients that you've gotten some amazing results for. Again, if your story can be the case study, it can be the testimonial. And I expect that you have some form of results either ways, whether for other people or for yourself, or whatever service or skill you're trying to sell. Let's say, for example, you say, "Oh, I'm an executive ghostwriter on LinkedIn or for LinkedIn for C-suite executives on LinkedIn." Even if you have not written for C-suite executives before, you must have built a brand for yourself on LinkedIn that is attractive, all right? Because if you're going to tell a C-suite executive that I can build a brand for you, that this and that, build your thought leadership on LinkedIn, we want to see proof that you can really do what you say you want to do. So even if you don't have testimonials of clients, how about your own testimonial? All right. So you must at least have something, an evidence or proof to show that truly what you say you can do, you really can do it. All right. And you also want to share about your qualification and experience. If you're saying that, "Oh, I can do this for you," the person is asking themselves, what makes you qualified to be able to do this? Do you have any experience at all? All right, so you want to share your experience and your qualifications. That's the second letter in the Hero framework. The third letter is the roadmap. In every movie, there comes a time when the hero is forced to take certain actions to change their story. Like I said, almost every movie, every series follows this pattern. The hero is identified and they are facing a challenge or they have an obstacle on their path to getting to a place or becoming somebody or becoming something. All right. So, but they have to take a particular action if they are going to overcome that challenge. This is what we call the roadmap in storytelling. All right, the roadmap. So, how do you plan to help them to overcome the challenge they are currently facing? So, we have identified that your customers are the hero in the story you're telling. Eyes with them. Now it's time for you to communicate how you intend to help them. All right. What's the roadmap? What's the path that you want to take them through to get them from where they are to the transformation that they're seeking to achieve? All right. And at the end, you want to put a call to action to get them to take action. Because if the
Stay
hero
fueled,
discovers what he
subscribe
needs
to
to
hit that
do
notification
to
bell.
get the transformation that he needs to get and he does not take action, is still going to remain at the same spot. So you don't want to create content the audience see themselves in it. You show them the roadmap, the path, but you do not have a call to action. You have to have a call to action. You have to call your audience to take action, either to sign up, to buy, to donate, to engage with your content, to get in touch with you. Otherwise, they will simply not do anything. People want to be told what to do. Sometimes customers don't even want to take initiative. So after you have written a beautiful post, and if you fail to tell them what you want them to do, they will just leave the post and go to do something else. So you must tell them. Do you want them to like the post, to drop a comment on the post, and you see, I do this even when I'm training and coaching. I tell you, "Oh, leave me a comment, tell me this, tell me that." That's call to action. I want to ensure that I'm carrying you along, all right? I want to ensure that you are with me. So you must have your call to action. And again, if you are confident that what you have to offer will solve the problem of your target customer, then boldly add your call to action. The only reason you should not be bold to sell or to ask people to pay you is if what you're selling is substandard, if it is not quality enough, if it is not good enough, and that's not good for your brand, all right? You should not be collecting people's money, asking people to pay you, give you their money, if you know deep down your heart that you cannot help them get the result they are looking for. That's like scamming people. That's like being fraudulent. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to build a brand that tells people that, "Oh, I can help you do this," and in the end, you don't deliver on your word. that is not good for your brand. It's a bad, bad image you're building for your brand. All right. So you must be confident that you must be sure that you can really help them get the result that you say you want to help them get. All right. And if that's the case, tell them what you want them to do if they want to get the results that they want to get. All right. Tell them what to do. In your CTA, use their words again. Use their words. When setting out your roadmap, you have just two goals.
Together we'll put 10,000 to flight. In His love we overcome. With you it's all so right. Oh baby, with you it's all so right. Remember the vows we
We're
made
back.
that day. How we stood together and
We're back.
this way. Our love's a flame, love's a flame.
We're back. All right. So I could say something like, if you're ready to finally lose that weight and get the summer body that you so desire, send me a DM. Let's begin your weight loss meal planning journey. So I use meal planning because I know that there are some registered nurses in our midst that are into meal planning and all that. So, and they also can help you if you want to lose weight. All right. So I just used this example based on that. It was Elizabeth, Grace. Those are the people that came to mind. So, for example, this is like me setting out the roadmap and the call to action. If you're ready to finally lose that weight and get the summer body that you do desire, send me a DM. Let's begin your weight loss
Subscribe
meal
to Horo for
planning
more
journey.
free
All right.
seasons. Hit
So
that
you want to be clear. That's
notification
the
bell.
summary of what I'm saying. Be clear on what you are offering, how it will solve their problem, and be clear on what is the next step they should take so that they can get on that transformation journey with you. So the last part of the Hero framework is the outcome. The O stands for outcome. Your audience wants transformation, all right? Your audience wants transformation. They are not ready to throw away their money. They are not ready to throw away their money. They want transformation. They want results. I don't want my face showing. Why are you showing my face? Give me a sec. All right. I want full screen. Full screen. So your audience wants transformation. They want results. So make sure that your messaging conveys the transformation that they will achieve if they get on your service or buy your products. All right. Ensure that you communicate, you convey the outcome, what is possible if they get on your program. So you need to paint a vivid picture of what your audience will achieve by taking you up on your offer. And you must be clear. Ask yourself, what transformation can your product or your service offer people? All right. If you're a ghostwriter, for example, don't just say, come and buy my ghostwriting. What is special about your ghostwriting? Like I taught them in Core 2, there's a difference between your service and an offer. Your service is what you do, an offer is why should people buy what you do. All right. So you want to be clear. What transformation does your product or your service, what does it offer? And compare that again with what your audience are trying to achieve. Because whatever offer you are making them must align with their aspiration. If it does not align with their aspiration, they will not take you up on the offer. All right. So ensure that there's an alignment between what value you are offering and what aspiration your target audience have. All right. There must be an alignment. All right. When you go through the document, you will see the other things. All right. Ensure that you are painting the emotional benefits of your service, show the practical benefits, and then the aspirational benefits. You will get to see all of that in the document. Something else to emphasize, use concrete words. Do not be vague. Don't say something like, oh, this program will help you improve your life. What exactly does that mean? When I was doing profile review for the VIPs in Core 2, some of them use words like that. And I'm like, this is vague, this is ambiguous. What does improvement mean? All right. You want to make it very simple and precise. What improvements can they expect? For example, using Jessica, for example, Jessica is 300 pounds. If she works with you, what improvements can she expect? Are you saying in 3 months, Jessica, if you work with me and do everything I ask you to do, you're going to drop at least 50 pounds. All right, you're going to go from 300 pounds to 250. In the next 3 months after that, we're going to get you from 250 to 200. In the next 3 months after that, we're going to get you from 200 to at least 150. And between January and let's say June, July, I guarantee you, Jessica, you will have that summer body and you can go on that vacation. You can slay your bikini. All right, all right, all right. You get what I'm saying? You have to be concrete. Don't be vague. Don't be ambiguous.
Subscribe to Daily
Improvement can mean
Resources.
anything.
Hit
What
that
improvement
notification bell.
precisely are you offering? And you want to use words too that helps them to visualize what you're saying. Use descriptive words so that paint a picture in their mind. All right, paint a picture in their mind. Now let me show you an example here. Let's say, for example, I'm selling a course that helps people to quit their 9 to 5 and then work remotely. All right, I could say something like, just imagine for a minute that you are finally working from the comfort of your home. No early morning alarms and hours in the traffic, because that's the life that I live now. Sometimes I wake up 8 o'clock, sometimes I wake 9. Because man, I'm out of the lifestyle where I used to wake up 5 a.m., 4 a.m. I'm trying to quickly, get dressed so I can beat Lagos traffic. So I'm saying, just imagine for a minute that you're finally working from the comfort of your home. No early morning alarms and hours in the traffic. Also, you're now in control of who you work for and when you work. And that's the beauty of remote work. I can choose who I want to work for and who I don't want to work for. I can choose whether I want to work 9 to 10 or I want to work in the night. All right. That's the life of a freelancer. And I say something like, imagine being able to travel on a Tuesday or Wednesday because you are the boss and you don't have to get permission from anybody. Again, I am using words that are painting pictures and that are stirring up emotions. Why? Because I know typically I worked 9 to 5 for like 10 years before I resigned. All right. I know that if you're working a 9 to 5 full time, if somebody invites you, let's even say sometimes you want to change your job and then you get an interview invite and it falls on a Monday or Tuesday. If you're going to make that interview, you need to probably lie. All right, you're probably going to call in sick and say, oh, I don't feel too good today, I can't come to work. Whereas it's a lie. But you just have to say that because there is no way HR is going to let you go do interview, get the interview for another company. HR.
Life feels hard like a heavy load. I'll hold your hand and praise his name. In his light, our love secure.
um, there was a quick network challenge. So HR is never going to allow you take permission to go interview on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and companies don't put interviews on Saturdays and Sundays. So if you're working a 9 to 5, you most likely don't have the time to go interview, or maybe your friend or your family has something to do. Maybe they're in the hospital, you need to stay with them for an operation in surgery, and it's happening during the week. You most likely will not get the sympathy of the HR to not show up at work because why are they paying you? They're paying you to work, all right? Or maybe you want to travel. You can't say, oh, I just want to try, except you can get your leave, your annual leave, and then travel. But when you work remotely, you can travel anytime. For example, I'm traveling, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday. That is only because I am a freelancer. I work remotely. I don't work for anybody who will say, oh, you can't travel this week. So I am painting a picture in the mind of the audience. I'm saying something like, oh, imagine being able to finally travel on a Tuesday or Wednesday because you are the boss and you don't have to get permission from anybody. And I say something like, imagine working for just 3 to 4 hours daily, but you're earning 10 to 20 times as much as what you currently earn, working 8 hours every day of the week. I am painting and stirring up an emotion in their mind, all right? And they're now beginning to picture it. Oh, what a sweet life, what a beautiful life. And then I finally tell them to jump on my program, all right? So look at how I ended that. I say, that is the life that is ahead of you if you take a chance on yourself and join the next cohort of Them You Boss I Quit. All right? If you know me very well, Them You Boss I Quit is my first book. It's a memoir about my journey from 9 to 5 to freelancing. The title is Them You Boss I Quit. So this is like the title came from the day I submitted my resignation letter, I'm like, damn you, boss. I quit. All right. So I just created this off the top of my head just to show you how you can actually tell your story, then use words to show the outcome of your service and your product to your target audience. All right. Now this is another one for Jessica. Imagine wearing your sexy bikini on a yacht or walking down the beach side and everyone is swooning at your picture perfect hips and curves. Think of how confident you now feel in your size 10 body, having lost all that excess fat that doesn't allow your dresses to fit. Ah, guys, now I feel like I feel like I'm dropping some hardcore copywriting lines here. All right. So I'm painting a picture in the mind of Jessica. Jessica is 300 pounds, and Jessica is now picturing that time when she's now weighing 150, 160. I don't even know if 160 is still picture perfect, but I just created something off the top of my head, so don't mind me. All right, don't take me up on this. All right, so but Jessica is now looking, she's now picturing in her mind. Oh, she's picturing herself when she's no longer sitting, in that chair, when she's now flaunting her, sexy bikini body, at a beachside in Florida or in Miami. All right, so this is the power of what? Of words. This is the power of words. So I've just ran you through the Hero framework. The H is the hero, the E is empathy, the R is the roadmap, and the O is the outcome. And if you check the document too, I did a screenshot of this post and I showed you the different aspects of the post that speaks to all of those acronyms. All right. When you check the document, you will find that. So this is the end of the Hero framework. Let me bring my face back. Let me bring my face back. My handsome face, alright? You don't think I'm handsome? I don't know for you. I don't know for you. Alright. I hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comment section. Did you get that? Did you understand that? Was that simple enough? Alright? Again, you will have access to the documents. You can follow up on the documents. And I couldn't really read through all the documents, so you'll be able to go through in your own spare time. But I hope that made sense. Let me know in the comment section. Did it make sense? Did it make sense? Was it easy for you to understand it? Do you get it? If you have any question, please put in the comment section. I'm going to attempt your questions. I'm going to answer your questions. So while we're doing that in the comments, I'm going to share my screen again and now walk you through the content guide for this course. All right, I'm going to walk you through the content guide for this course. Yolanda, thank you. Yeah, I see you got this. Let me share my screen. I'm going to walk you through the content guide. Okay, I don't think my screen is. Give me a sec. I'm going to share my screen so I can show you the content guide. Okay. Okay. All right. Good, good. Let's go. All right. So this is the content guide that we are using for Quad 3. This is the content guide that we are using for this course. So if you look at the screen, you will see that there are 3 columns. We have the weekday, we have the content type, and then we have the hook template. All right, I've made this very simple for you to be able to make use of. And if you still have any question again, all right, feel free to ask your question in the WhatsApp group so that you can get clarification. All right, on Monday, which is day 1, I'm just going to run through maybe 2 or 3, then we call it a day for tonight. So on Monday, which is day 1, Monday, that's next tomorrow, on the 10th of March, you're going to share your origin story. All right, I expect everybody to share their origin story. And what am I asking you to do? What is your origin story? Describe a defining moment in your life that sparked your journey. Now, if you're a business person, for example, let's say as a ghostwriter, all right, I am a ghostwriter, and what is my origin story? It is exactly the story I told you earlier of how I lost my job in 2020 due to the lockdown, COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic, and how in that process, I mean, during that period of the lockdown, I began to reflect on my life, and then I came up with the idea to start selling my writing as a freelancer. That is my origin story. So, describe the defining moment that sparked your journey, explain what happened, how it changed you, and why it set you on your current path. And because I know there are people in this cohort too who are not necessarily selling a product or a service, this also still applies to you. Let's say, for example, I'm going to give Yolanda, for example, you want to share your journey, your origin story of how you found your writing back, your writing mojo or something like that back. If you're okay with sharing the story you shared with me behind the scene, you could just go ahead, share about that, that defining moment, how it changed you, and how that was the moment you decided that, oh, I'm going to get back to writing because I feel like, oh, this is something that I must do, all right? This is something that I must do. This is my life's purpose. I have something to say that the world has to hear, and then, all right? So that's like your origin story. Let me go to
Subscribe
day
to
two.
Fuel Frequencies.
Day
Hit
two
that
is
notification bell.
self-introduction or reintroducing yourself. So I use reintroducing yourself because some people may have introduced themselves before, and maybe that's in the last 3 months, 4 months. It is not bad that you reintroduce yourself once in a while to your audience. Why? Because when you shared your introduction the last time, some people did not see it. All right. And even though some persons saw it, let's say last time you shared it, you had 11,000 followers. Now, most likely you have 12,000 followers. So that new audience may not know you too well. So it makes sense to reintroduce yourself. All right. But again, if you have never introduced yourself, this is the good time to introduce yourself. So post a professional picture of yourself and introduce yourself, introduce what you do. And this introduction can simply be you copying your bio or your about section. If your about section is that good, you can copy it and that's your introduction. I mean, I can copy my about section. I mean, I've done it before. All I just did was copy my about section and I pasted it and I put a picture and I posted it. That's all. All right. That's introducing yourself, your experience, your qualifications, your journey. All right. Why you are the right fit. This is more like when you go for an interview and they say, "Oh, tell us why you are the right person for this job." All right. So this is the goal of this Tuesday prompt. You have to introduce yourself, your experience, your background, your qualification, so that your target audience who read that post can see why they should work with you. All right. And I gave you some book ideas there. This year, I'm on a mission to help ABC. You can state numbers. For example, as a ghostwriter, I can state something like, oh, this year, I'm on a mission to help 100 personal brands and businesses to do XYZ. All right? Either to build their personal brand or to, this and this and that. So you want to figure out what it is that you do for your clients. All right? And then you can say something like, oh, this year I'm on a mission to help XYZ number of businesses or brands to do XYZ. Then the second line, which is the rehook, will now be, yes, why I am the best hand for your brand or your business. And then you will highlight your skill, highlight your experiences and your qualifications. All right. This format is more or less like what you do when you go for an interview. All right. At the interview, the HR or whoever is interviewing you will say, oh, why do you think you're the best candidate for this job? That's what you're doing with this kind of content on Tuesday. Does that make sense? All right. At the end of the post, highlight the value that you bring to your client and then add a call to action so that anybody that reads that post, if they want to finally take you up on the offer, work with you based on the fact that they have now seen your experience, they have now seen your qualification, tell them the next thing you want them to do. Do you want them to send you a DM? Do you want them to book a call? Whatever it is you want them to do, tell them, all right? Add your call to action. I'm just going to do Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and I will call it a day. And I added some post link, all right, to the first week. so that you can click and see some of the posts that I've made, on my own profile that explains very well what I'm telling you to do. On Wednesday, you're sharing your transformation story. Share a personal account of overcoming a major challenge in your life. Share the initial struggle, what was the turning point, and
to
how
regular
you achieved
frequencies.
success.
Hit that
All right.
notification bell.
Again, you're telling a story, and like I said earlier, ensure that you know your audience and you are sharing stories that your audience can find relatable, relevant. Don't just share any story that your audience are just going to look at. Oh, so what's this? How does this concern me? All right. So you want to share a story that your audience can see themselves in it. All right. They can see themselves in your struggle. They can see themselves. Oh, the aspiration is in your turning point. They can see themselves in the success you have achieved, and they can aspire to achieve it. And then you can now tell them, oh, to work with you so that you can help them get exactly the same result. Is this making sense? All right, that is what we call the transformation story. Again, if you read this post, I mean, the post that I have added here, you will see how I use this. Okay, let me go to this one, for example. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to show you what I'm saying. There's a way I find a way to, every time I'm telling these stories, I find a way to include what I do in the storyline in a very simple and easy way. So look at this, for example. This is a transformation story. 6 years ago, I made very terrible financial decisions and I ran into debt and was in that rut for 2017 to 2021. This is my life story, all right? This is a transformation story of how I finally got out of debt, all right? So, let me show you. So look at this section. I managed to still find a way in the middle of that story to tell people what I do and who I've worked for. In 2020, I started my content writing agency. Today, I am a top-rated ghostwriter. What do you think I'm doing there? I'm telling the person reading that story what I do. I'm also positioning myself that I'm not just a random ghostwriter. I am a top-rated ghostwriter. I'm also telling them the kinds of brands that I've worked with. I've written for Upwork, for Skynova. This person is reading the story of my life. They're reading a transformation story. But somewhere in that story, I've been able to market myself. This is story selling. And this is as simple as it gets. This person is just reading a story and they're enjoying the story. And they find out, oh, what I do, who I've worked for. They are not under any pressure because I'm not even saying come and buy from me. Do you understand? Then they continue reading the story. They're reading the story. They're reading the story. They are reading the story. And they get to the end of the story. And at the bottom of the story, I introduce myself again. My name is Olaleko Ajayi. As a ghostwriter, this is what I do. This is the result I can help you get. If you need my services, send me a DM. So someone has just read a beautiful story, a captivating story, and they have also just discovered that, oh, this is what I do. That is as simple as story selling gets. It is not complicated at all. All right? And Yolanda, for example, you're not selling a service or a product, but there is still you must be clear on the value that you're bringing to the internet space. Now that you want to show up and write content and tell your story online, why should people care about your story? All right? Why should they care? That is what you're trying to what? That's the value and the thing you're trying to sell. You're not selling a product, you're not selling a service, but you're selling them a value. If they read your story for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, what exactly do they stand to get from reading that story? All right?
Hit that notification bell.
The fourth day in week 1, Throwback Thursday. You can share a relevant throwback story. It could be a story about your last corporate work experience, a past client that you had. And it doesn't have to be something negative, all right? You don't have to share a story of when something bad happened. It could be something positive. But at the end of the story, you want to draw out the lesson that you pick from the experience that your audience can also watch, that your audience can also learn from, all right? The hook idea, you can do a throwback to, for example, throwback to 2020 when whatever you were doing in 2020. It could be when I just get married. For me, throwback to 2019 when I was working 55,000 naira, all right? That can be my hook, all right? I mean, if you read this post, I think it has something like that. It's about something like that, all right? So Thursday, we're doing a throwback Thursday. You're sharing a story, all right, of something that happened in the past, and then you're sharing a learning from it. And then you find a way also to still weave in what you do, all right. And let me now run through Friday, and we are done. Client success story. Outline a client's journey by detailing the problem they faced, your approach, and the measurable results that you achieved. All right. And if you are new and you have never had a client that you got any results from, there's another thing you can do. All right. You can say something like, "Oh, if a client, let me use what should I use? A social media manager. If a client who is too busy to manage their social media profile or getting low engagement reaches out to me to manage their social media profile, this is how I will help them achieve a transformation in just 1 month." And then you will list your process. If a client reaches out to you, what's the first thing you're going to do? Are you going to get on the call with them? And after getting on the call, are you going to create a content calendar? And after creating the content calendar, are you going to batch create your content? How will you help them increase engagement? You can highlight all of that. All right. If you are new and you don't have clients, testimonials, and success stories, this is another alternative that you can use, and you can just, achieve the same results even though you don't have testimonials yet. I hope this makes sense. All right. If you have any question, go through this content guide. If you have any question, put them in the WhatsApp group, or ask Soladoye, or ask me. I will help you, understand whatever it is that is not clear to you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So this is the content guide. We're just going to be telling some very good stories in this course. Oh, there's something else I should show you. All right, let's go to the end of the document. You need to see this. I've made this very easy for you. You need to see this. So if you have not seen this part of the document, you need to see it now. So I have created some storytelling hook frameworks for you. How do you start your story in such a way that you pull in the crowd? In such a way that it is obvious from the get-go that you're about to tell a story. Like I said earlier, people like stories. So you want to make it obvious to them that they're about to listen or they're about to read a story, so that you can steer their curiosity, all right? So I've put some framework here that you can use. There are about 9 frameworks. The first one is a single date or 2 days transformation. All right. This is a single date example. I resigned my job in 2019 because of my mental health. I've used this in my post before. You know why this is going to get people? This is going to get people because I mentioned mental health. Most likely, there are some people in my target audience who are having, their job is really giving them a hard time. They will want to read this post. And some people just want to read it because, oh, really? That's why you resigned your job? Oh, I want to read this, all right? So this is like 1 day transformation hook story. This is 2 days. You can say something like, okay, this is also something I've used. Oh, no, this is not what I didn't use exactly this, but I've used something like this before. A 2 days will say something like, 2019, I was a lost, confused, and unfulfilled 9-to-5 worker. 2025, I run an agency and I hire at least 5 freelancers. This is like my example, all right? So this is a 2 days transformation. You're simply telling them, oh, 2019 to 2025, which is like 5 years in between, I've gone from a confused, unfulfilled 9-to-5 worker to running an agency. This sets the tone for people to want to read what follows. They want to read what follows, all right? So the idea behind this hook is to ensure that you hook people in. I mean, let's just say it like that. The concept of the hook is what the fisherman does when he goes to the river and puts a worm in the hook just to bait people and just to bait the fishes to want to eat the worm, and then you catch them. All right. So this is like to get people to be interested in the post, in the story that you're about to tell. Then there is another framework here from point A to point B. This can be used to tell your origin story or your client's transformation. For example, from earning 50,500 a month to earning 1.9 million naira in just 2 weeks. And this is my story too, all right? Like I told you, I was working a 9-to-5 before earning 50,500, but when I started my agency, in 11 months, in my 11 months of running my agency, in just 2 weeks, I became a millionaire, all right? It happened in just 2 weeks. So if I put this as my hook, you can be very sure that people are interested in This will draw them to be curious. They want to read the story. How did you do that? What happened? All right. Another example is in 2019, or you could say something like 6 years ago, I was earning 50,500. Today, I make multiple 6 to 7 figures every month. This is like 2 days also. It just draws people attention. They want to now see the end of the story. How exactly did you go from earning 50,500 to making 6 to 7 figures every month? All right. So this is how to draw people into your story. Let me run through this third one and we'll call it a day. The timeline story hook. All right. 2019. This is like you're using timeline to draw people in. 2019, I resigned from my job. 2020, I started my ghostwriting agency in my uncle's living room. 2021, I made my first one, but this is also my example, alright? 2021, I made my first 1.9 million naira, alright? Today, we just had our best month as an agency. Today means 2025. So you get this is like a timeline. It's how you draw people in. People will now begin to follow you from the first timeline to the second timeline to the third to the fourth, and then to the continuation of the story up until the end of the story. I tell you again and again, writing is pure psychology. All right. If you know how to choose the right words, and that's why I made this content guide very simple. I'm giving you hook examples of how to pull people in. If you know how to choose the right words, you will get people to read your story and to follow your content. Let's call it a day here. All right. Let me show my face again. I am back. Oh, how I love this session. All right. Um, so you already have access to the content guide. It's in the welcome letter, the link to the content guide. I've made life very simple for you. But if you're still facing any challenge, ensure you reach out to the community manager or reach out to myself. But primarily reach out to the community manager. I'm actually traveling tomorrow. I may not be that much available between Sunday till Wednesday. But that's why we have a community manager. You don't have to speak to me or speak with me. You can always, have a chat with the community manager. I'm going to send the link to the Hero framework in the group immediately after this session. All right. So that you can go through it, and then you will see the task. There's also a task in that guide, in that Hero framework guide. All right, to help you make sense or make meaning out of all the information. All right. How has this been tonight? How has the session been? I have 4 minutes to round up. Let me know in the comment section. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time sharing this. I hope you did. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comments. On Monday, we are starting the content writing part of the challenge. All right. For those that are in the LinkedIn challenge, we're going to be creating content every day with the guide, the storytelling guide. And again, the WhatsApp group will be open between 7:30 a.m. West African time, and it will close 12 noon West African time. So you have within that space to share the link to your content for review, and then for people to engage with you, to see what you're doing, to support you and all that. So that's the time the group opens in the morning. Then in the evening, the group will also open. The group will shut by 12 noon. It will open again by 7 p.m. West African time. For Yolanda in US, that's going to be 1 p.m. your time. The group opens again in the evening, 7 p.m. and then shuts at 10 p.m. That's going to be 4 p.m. EST time. All right. So again, those are the times when the group will be open. If you want to post your link or you want to ask questions, those are the times and the window that you want to look out for. But that's going to start on Monday. I want to advise you to use tomorrow, Sunday. I don't know how busy some of you, get on Sunday, but if you have some time tomorrow after church, if you go to church, if you're not a Christian, whatever your day, however your day goes, find time, create the content for Monday, and just schedule it. All right, go and schedule it. If you can even batch create your content for Monday to Saturday or Monday to Friday, or if you can't go that much, maybe Monday to Tuesday or to Wednesday, create your content and then relax, so that you will not have to create content on a rush. If you want to post for 8 o'clock, for example, you will not have to now start rushing around 7 a.m. to create your content. You will not be able to be as intentional as you should be in telling your story and in using the right words. All right, if you have to rush it.
Subscribe to
And
Faith
again,
Fuel
I've said it in the
Frequencies.
group.
Hit that
This is not a course
notification
where you
bell.
use ChatGPT. The stories you want to tell are your stories, and I don't think it should be difficult for you to tell your own story. All right, I don't think it should be that difficult for you to tell your story. All right. So ensure that you create your content. The content for the week, create it tomorrow. If you can't go batch create content for the week, content for Monday, create it on Sunday. Content for Tuesday, do it on Monday. Content for Wednesday, do it on Tuesday. Give it some 30 minutes, all right, of concentration, focused work, and do a good job. This is how you're going to make the most of the challenge, make the most of the guide, make the most of the storytelling, edition that we're currently running through in the next 21 days. Again, I am rooting for you. You can be assured of that. I want to see you win. I want to see you get amazing results on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm rooting for you. I am in your corner. I'm going to show up as much as I can on your post, to like your post, to drop a comment on your post. Once in a while, we're going to have reviews. If I see a content that I should review, I'm going to review it in the WhatsApp group. Those of you in the VIP, we're going to do some, loads of reviews. All right, you're like the guys that are paying me. You're paying me well. All right, so I am in your corner. Yeah, so guys, let's have a wonderful 21 days content marketing challenge. I love you. I'm rooting for you. Have a wonderful night rest. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna raise the volume of the music as we call it a day. Again, happy International Women's Day to all the amazing women in this world. Alright? I can't remember everybody's name, so I don't want to start mentioning names before I forget anybody. But happy International Women's Day. I love you. You guys make the world go round. And yes, girls around the world. Alright? You run the world. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do that. Outside the course, I create a lot of content that's going to help you get better with your writing. Alright? I'll see you on WhatsApp.
Nothing we can't face as two. When his love will make it through. A quarter three, he's always there. Our love will soar on wings of prayer. Our two has become one. Together we'll put 10,000 to flight. In his love we overcome. With you it's all so right. Oh baby, with you it's all so right.